Did you know that your heart is the most powerful organ in your body? Measured with an EKG machine, it is 60 times more powerful than your brain. 60 times. We can actually now, with science, we're able to measure this frequency and the vibration where we can measure that field from the heart space extends 3 feet outside of your physical body. And this, though, is the word for vibes. We can feel someone's vibe. We can feel their energy. That's why when you are in somebody's presence, you can sense if you're paying attention, if they're available for connection, even if their heart is open or closed. Today, I want to talk to you about your heart. And not just your physical heart, but I'm talking about the spiritual heart center. We can think of this as the heart chakra. This is your superpower. This is what connects us to the world, to each other, to our joy, to our acceptance, to feeling loved. And when we get injured in life, death, loss, misunderstanding, disconnection, pain, we get really creative, our minds get really creative and think the way to protect ourselves is to close our heart. And when we close our heart, when we armor our heart, when we get that wall, we can feel it. You can feel it when you're around somebody with a closed heart. It's a stop, close this heart. Not only does it shuts us off from the goodness in the world, we become numb, but it also has us feeling lonely and disconnected. Chakras are energy meridians that start to organize before we're even brought into being. We can think of them as like swirling vortexes that create us, that build our, we have our root chakra, but in the middle, our fourth chakra, the heart chakra, is the bridge between our first 3 chakras that link us to the physical world. This is the portal here to our upper 3 chakras. This is to the divine. This is how we get our spiritual messages, intuition, inspiration. So if this is closed, if this is armored, these 2 can't connect. And you know what happens? We get stuck. When we are blocked here, we get into our heads. So today, I'm going to share some tools on how to open our heart, how to stay centered in that energy, and how we can also use this intelligence in all aspects of our lives to connect us to our intuition, to create joy, community, to stop feeling lonely. Hi, I'm Sonia. Welcome to my channel. I am so happy you're here. If you haven't already, hit subscribe. I release new videos every single week. And if you're returning, thank you. Welcome back. I really am passionate about this topic. 43% of young people, according to a Harvard study right now, feel lonely. And it's funny because we look on social media and that's not what appears. Loneliness is an epidemic that is killing us. And when this loneliness happens, it's not just I'm feeling alone, but that's a good sign that part of our heart is closed. We are closed to the goodness of life. So the very first thing that I want you to do is just take a moment and just feel the weight of your body in your chair and just check in. How do I respond to life? Am I connected to my joy? Do I have faith? Is there a light in your eyes? Is there a smile on your face? When your heart is closed, when we are disconnected from our place of feeling grounded, safe, from our belonging, from our expression, we get tight. You can tell somebody who has a closed heart or an armored heart, because even in their body language, often they'll lean out, they'll cross their arms, they'll have the old butthole mouth, holding all that tension and stress as that protective little ego analyzes, go away. There is no room at the inn. I don't want to be hurt. And having a closed heart, it's really painful on both sides. We feel isolated. We feel disconnected. We feel misunderstood. And when you're on the other side of a closed heart, especially as intuitive, empathic people, it often makes us feel like we have to try even harder, that we just want to do everything that we can to pry open the heart space of those who have shut themselves off, and leaving us in exhaustion, leaving us again with that same feeling, that flip side of the coin, that no matter how hard I try, no matter how much I give, no matter what, I can't get the community, connection, support that I really desire. Now, when we're talking about the heart space, your heart is an intelligent organ, and the highest vibration in the whole universe is love. It's love. It is a healing vibration. This is, why it's so important to not only know ourselves, but feed your spirit, which means give yourself activities that connect you to your heart space, that start to open it up. When I am teaching workshops, and we're talking about how the very beginning places of how to start to connect to your intuition, to your spirit, to your guides, a tool that I share is name what you love out loud and notice how it feels. You can do this right now. Have a practice. Name what you love. If your heart is really closed and if it's really shut off, you're having a really hard time with it, good information. Good information that there's a part that of our human self that needs to reconnect to feeling safe on planet Earth, to feel safe, to enjoy, to open up. If you're really good and you name all the things that you love and it's really, really easy, notice the shift in vibration. If you're having a hard time with it, just practice and just naming those things and starting to anchor those in. When you name those things, then you can feel the resonance. Your vibration raises. It gets higher to the spiritual realm. This is where we start to open our heart space. We start to connect these two energy meridians that allow us guidance. Now, naming what you love is a really beautiful way to open your heart. And if you have a closed heart and are really ready to create a shift, the first thing you can even do is just know that at any moment you have choice, and we can lean into curiosity and lean into that desire to be connected to life once again. That is our spirit. It'll push you. And when we close our heart, it's usually because of some sort of emotional pain or injury. And when that happens, our head reacts and wants to find out who, what, where, when, why. It wants to know the scene of the crime. It wants to know all of the details, all of the information, because it believes that if we learn, then we won't be hurt again. Now, that's one part of the equation. But our emotions, that grief, that emotion that's telling us something, loss, disappointment, anything will tell you it's not bad. It's telling you it's important. And when we can look at it through that framework, it is not about language, but about connecting to our feeling body. Your body and your feelings, your emotions speak to you through the portal of your body and sensations. So if you have pain, if you have loss, if you have something that you're like, I know the who, what, where, when, why, I'm almost, sometimes we get sick of our own story. I want to open my heart. We're not going to try and figure out why. First thing I want you to do is just take a moment and just bring your energetic heart center to mind. Just taking your awareness from your head space to your heart space. Starting to feel the energy. We can feel that wall, you can feel that armoring. If there's any part of you that feels frustrated or annoyed or impatient with that energy, that's your ego intellect that is struggling to have faith that in opening up the portal to big feelings, it often gets really afraid that we're going to get lost in the sauce and that if we feel, we're going to be in pain forever. So that's why it likes to shut it off. So if there's any part that's like, see, thank you so much, ego intellect. Thank you so much for trying to protect me. I am going to just ask you to step back. And in the same portal, this is where we can, connecting to our heart space, connect to your spirit. Start to anchor into home number one. letting your body, your breathing return back to normal. Just starting to anchor into that deeper intelligence, to the wisdom of your spirit, of the grace of your spirit, of the support and connection of your spirit that can give you the confidence. And confidence not as in, oh yeah, great, let's go do it, but a safe space. I think of confidence with our spirit as a safe space that we can explore from, that we can explore these deep feelings, these deep emotions from, with a secure anchor, knowing that we're not going to get lost in the sauce. We can always return back to the present, to our spirit. So having that confidence, so just even take that moment, anchoring in, calling in your spirit, just starting to enter into that energy. Again, asking any parts that can get overwhelmed or afraid that it's okay. They don't need to be the ones driving the bus. Our higher self and our adult self are going to be the ones who are going to open into our feeling body, paying attention to what emotions are coming up. And these emotions aren't thoughts, but as the sensations in our body. And that in feeling them, in feeling these sensations, that energy will move. It will never move here, ever. It moves here, it moves here. And when we get so in our heads and we get blocked, that is when we stop the energy. So, hold on, let's figure it out, right? So as you're in this space of just connecting, of opening up to these softer energies, just be curious. First, just scan your body from head to toe. Are there places that are tight? Are there places that are calling for your attention? Now, your head, your intellect will again probably be like, well, let me get in here and start talking. Just, okay, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for your help. And then return to the sensation. This is using your energy and focus. And you can even name them out loud. I'm feeling tightness in my chest. I'm feeling tightness in my jaw. I'm feeling heaviness in my heart. Okay, now we're coming back online and starting to give anchors and a framework to start to name and be curious of what is this feeling? All right, if these are these sensations, we need to say, my spirit says, I'm feeling, fill in the blank. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling angry. I'm feeling alone. I'm feeling, name it. Then go back to the sensation. We don't get into the why or the what or the how or what you should do. Just come back to that energy. And anchoring with your spirit, just hold space. Just imagine like the most loving energy that just allows everything, all of our human parts to just relax and unfold and soften into the support of your spirit, of your heart, of your angels, of your guides, of your team, your beautiful, unique manifestation of the divine in a body. And we can anchor into that, emotions start to move. You might cry. You might want to yell. You might want to move. They might have some physicality. That is good. Don't censor yourself. Don't edit yourself. Let the energy move. And notice as we're allowing that energy to move, we lighten, right? So that's where we start to attend to the pains of our loss, of our hurt, not through here, but through here, through that portal of deep love and wisdom. That love, that is what heals. You know, one thing that I recently learned that is really interesting is in Sanskrit, we're talking about the heart chakra. It translates to, if you already used, the Sanskrit for heart chakra, what is that? Heart. What does it mean? Unhurt. Which is funny because our wise heart, our divine heart doesn't get hurt by life. It can navigate the complexities. It can hold the space, but it cannot be injured. And if you anchor into that of like, my human parts are having a hard time, but my wise intelligence, my spirit, this energy, nothing can harm it. Nothing can hurt it. And in building that relationship and that foundation back, it's like, I know that these emotions, this grief, this all of it, is just good information of where I can attend and nurture myself, but that I actually can navigate through life with an open heart and know that no matter what, I am unhurt. There's lots of tools to open your heart, a lot of tools. So after moving emotions, and then I want you to say, feed yourself with play and joy. Put on your favorite song, sing it loud, the cheesiest, most silly nonsense. Let yourself play, let yourself dance, let yourself move, let yourself be movable, let yourself be guideable. Notice how when we engage in these activities that bring us into presence, that remind us of the joy and the connection of the divine in the mundane, in these teeny tiny moments, that our heart starts to soften. Another big thing that I also want to illuminate is that a lot of times when we have a closed heart, we're really critical of ourselves. We're really hard on ourselves. And this is also where anchoring into our heart chakra, opening our heart, this is where we can also practice a lot of self-love. And self-love can be a buzzword. And there could be so many different practices, but if we're wanting to start to open our heart, and if you're like, oh, it's hard, self-love, dying a line, I don't even know. Practice a meditation. In that, in another space, take a breath, anchor into your spirit, and first, hand on your heart, hand on your belly, bring your awareness to your heart space, to your gut. And now, bring to mind somebody that you love. Whether it be a family member, a niece, nephew, a friend, a pet, think of somebody that you really love. That just when you think about them, your whole self softens. I think there are many people, but right now I'm thinking of my niece. When I think of my niece, it's just everything in me just opens up. The love pours out of me. And once we call that person to mind and call to mind how much we love them, notice how all of that energy will start to soften. We can almost gather that energy like a ball and then send it to ourselves. It's send that loving energy, that presence, that kindness to ourselves, just as a reflection. Because just as easy as it is for you to love those you love, that's how people love you. And the divine and your spirit loves you more than we can even comprehend. And so it really paying attention to these energies and these vibrations. What do I love? What does connect me? I'm going to intentionally say, I love myself. And say it all the time. When you're barking dogs, our heart chakra gets closed, we get in our heads, I pause. In your heart, hand your belly, I love myself. I'm doing a good job. I'm doing my absolute best. And I can be proud of that. I can always open up to the support of my heart, to my spirit team, to my intuition. And it's the intention. It's the intention. So do it intentionally. And last, I'd say, a big tool that I've used and share with my clients, put a baby picture of yourself on your phone. And every time you can hear your barking dog getting loud, look at that sweet little baby picture and say, would I say that to that sweet face? No, not at all. And I'll leave you with a quick story. My dad came to visit, and he just came back from a multi-month trip in Asia. He bought himself a ring with, I believe it was an emerald on it as a token, as a souvenir from somewhere, I believe in the Rajasthani Triangle in India. And he was going to a meeting. And, he's at this meeting, he's wearing his new ring, he's really excited. Gets home, realizes that the stone is gone. It's fallen out. And he's telling me the story. He says, the first thing, I was so angry. I was so mad at myself. I was mad at one of the people in my meeting who was late. I was like, I can't believe it. I always just frustrated. And just hearing him talk about his own reaction to losing this ring that was harsh. It's hard on him. I mean, there is everything in me that I wanted to go in with barking down and say, don't you dare talk to about somebody that I love like that. Like, what? And that, he keeps going. And he was like, and then I paused and I thought, if my Grandma Tully, heard an adult speaking to me that way, she would have something to say. She would never let anyone treat me like that. And so I can't treat myself like that. I don't want to treat myself like that. And that is how we soften. That is a beautiful way of how we can soften. And where we have the emotion, right? He's disappointed, sad, and his head, barking dog, lots of criticism of others, of himself, until that brought into awareness. This isn't working. Is this really helping me? No. I'm gonna think about somebody who loves me, who I know loves me. How would they react in love? All right, now send that to myself. So it's an intention. That's where our energy flows, more than it is about practices. Practices just help support their tools. So if connecting to your heart space, just as simple as bringing your awareness, just even holding your hand on your heart, right? And how powerful it is. It runs everything. It circulates your blood. And even, for example, they don't, we're not out. We're not pronounced dead, actually, until the heart stops beating. If the brain goes offline, heart still beating, still running the system, still running the machine. So your heart is powerful. Your heart is powerful. Be curious, be interested, and notice we open ourselves up to the goodness and joy of life. We open ourselves up to all of the gifts. And you are so deserving, so loved, and so innately, naturally loving. And that is, in sharing, giving, and receiving that is how we can help heal the consciousness of ourselves and the world instead of just thinking about it. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. I am sending you all my love. If you hit subscribe, come to my website. I do readings, mentoring, check out the family podcast. This one was pretty long, but obviously I have a lot to say because your heart is smart. So I will see you next week. See you, my love. Bye.